Hey, Denise. Good morning. So I'm going live on YouTube as well. And just to have like a very quick conversation about ChatGPT, because I think so many of us are a little bit behind and either a little nervous about ChatGPT or maybe even just where to start. Where do we start with ChatGPT? And of course, you know, my cat has jumped on my lap. Of course, well, that's what they do. So what I want to do, because I want to open this in the main hallway, and I want to go grab the link from YouTube. But typically it's I have to find it. Oh yeah, there it is. Yay, I'm so excited. Let's see. Just hang out and leave. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Just hang out and listen, because I'm going to open it up to the main hallway anyway. And even though I'm live on YouTube looking down, oh my gosh, I look at myself and I'm like, oh, that's so weird. So I'm going to minimize my screen so that I'm not looking at myself. And I am going to end up sharing my screen here too as well. But so let me just open it up in the main hallway, make public. And it goes pretty fast when this happens. So I'm in ChatGPT on YouTube, and I'm also on Clubhouse at the same time. I like going live on YouTube so that people can take some time if they're in the audience on Clubhouse so that they can jump into the live feed to see what's happening. So if you wanted to and you're not driving, of course, you can go to the live feed. I want to make sure I have the right live feed because that's always the catch is like, let me make sure I have the right live one. But for those of you that are in the audience, I am live on YouTube. I just have to find it because it always, oh, there it is. Oh, it's there. Let me just close it out on my phone. Okay, yeah. So you should be able to hear it or see it live on YouTube as well. And if not, you can always go back because I'm recording it. I'll probably do some edits, but it's there. So again, I'm in ChatGPT along Denise with my cat on my lap. Oh my gosh, go away. He loves me to death. So I have ChatGPT open and I want to kind of go from the beginning. On the left side are my prompts, basically questions or things that I've asked ChatGPT to do for me or with me. And right now it's in what we call light mode. I sometimes like dark mode, but it's up to you on what you would want it to be in. But I'm going to leave it on light mode for now. I might switch back and forth, but these are some of the prompts that I did in the past. The prompt that I would like for everybody to always start with is to ask ChatGPT, what is Chat GPT, and explain it like I am a fourth grader. And the reason why I say have ChatGPT explain it to you like you're a fourth grader first, because typically if you ask ChatGPT to tell me about yourself, it does it. And it's like this very technical language. And I laughed the first time I read it when I first asked it. So I'm going to read to you what it says. And if you're coming into the room right now, hey, everybody, I'm live on YouTube. And I said that I would do this because a couple of my friends that are in education, especially principals and teachers, they're a little apprehensive because they are concerned about cheating. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. And this is, again, from an educator's perspective. So it says, hi there, I'm ChatGPT. I think of me as a really smart computer program that can understand and respond to questions you ask me. Just like how you ask your teacher a question and they'll give you an answer. You can ask me a question. I'll try my best to give you a helpful answer. I'm like a really big and knowledgeable library, but instead of books, I store information in my digital brain. Well, the truth is that it's a big digital brain. And I don't want to get technical because I have to remember that that we're not all very technical. So I wanted to do this kind of in layman's terms. And then it goes on to say, so if you ever have a question about something you're curious about, feel free to ask me. So and again, hey everyone, if you are yes, Rafe, I definitely tried that. So if you want to ask me to ask it a question, throw that in the chat. But the first thing that I am going to ask it is, and if you're in education, is how can, this is my perspective now. So I would use the same prompt if you were a teacher. I would ask it, how can you help me as a high school biology teacher who teaches in an economically disadvantaged area? So I'm just asking it a question. I'm not asking it to do anything other than talk to me a little bit. And that's it. And it starts out with a pre-prompt, and you can ask it to not give you that. So I'm going to skip that. It's now giving me a list. And usually this list, and it's doing it in what we call markdowns, meaning like it's not doing it in bold for me right now because I didn't ask it to, but it's putting it in bullets, number bullets. And it gave me 5. It's interesting because one time it gave me 8 and I was like, that's an odd number. I mean, not literally an odd number, but an interesting number. So it gave me 5 things. It first said, use online resources, create a positive learning environment, use real life examples, seek out professional development opportunities, and collaborate with other teachers and community members. Now, I'm a little bit frustrated with ChatGPT right now because I said, as a biology teacher. So I'm actually going to talk back to ChatGPT and said, you didn't tell me how to use this as a biology teacher. And it's going to say, I know it's going to say, I apologize. It did, for any confusion. So now it's being a little bit more specific. It's giving me, it gave me a few things like Khan Academy and Crash Course and Bozeman Science, but I wanted it to be I wanted it to be more specific. And it's still, it's not being as specific as I want it to be. It went back to those, to those resources, at least one of them, use online resources. And it gave me a list of biologycorner.com, explorelearning.com. It said use social media, like Twitter. So most it says use Kahoot and Quizlet. It's being very broad. And to me, it's very ambiguous. So I would probably go, I'm still going to push it a little bit and say, I am a biology teacher that teaches 9th grade science and will be teaching about genetics. Tell me more about how to use GPT from this perspective. Because again, it is only as good as the information that you put out. So, and now what I want to do is while it's doing that, this time I'm going to share my screen so that everybody can see it, so that you can see what I'm doing, because I don't want to just talk to you. So now it's generating a little bit more information. Generate discussion prompts. You can use ChatGPT to generate discussion prompts related to genetics, which can help stimulate class discussion and encourage thinking. Then it said create sample genetics problems. For example, such as if a heterogeneous parent has a child with a homogeneous recessive parent, what is the probability that the child will inherit the recessive allele? So that, I like that. I do like that. But again, if you're a teacher, and again, you can do this for any grade level, you can even put in a standard. Now I'm going to push it a little bit for those of you that are educators and around the country and your state uses the next generation science standards. Now I'm going to push it. Now I'm going to say, find the, I'm even going to use the acronym NGSS. Find the NGS standard that goes along with genetics for high school. Let's see if it'll give it to me. And it does. This still to me is very beginning, somewhat intermediate. This is what it said. This is so much fun to me. The Next Generation Science Standards, NGSS, include several standards related to genetics for high school students. High school life science, LS-1, ask questions to clarify relationships about the role of DNA and chromosomes in coding the instruction of characteristic traits passed from parents to offspring. So now it's opening up a little bit. Now, as an educator, now just know I'm talking about science because my background is in biological science. So I'm asking it to push me a little bit, and I'm pushing back a little bit because I know that there are standards out there that are skills that we specifically want students to learn. That's in every grade level, for whether it's language, whether it's historical sciences, whether it's life science, biological, mathematics, physics, you name it, whether it's phonemic awareness in kindergarten, whether you're asking it to do a writing. So now, and again, I'll throw these prompts, I'm live on YouTube if you're in the room. I'll throw these prompts in the description when I'm finished updating the video when the live is over. But there's so many things that you can do. And now I'm going to push it and say, this is what I want you to see. This is what's fantastic. Create a table with examples of genetics, and let's see, it said, I'm going to say heterogeneous, and I'm going to spell the word wrong because, I'm live. Why not? Heterogeneous and homogeneous. Using, let's think. Let me see if it just does it with this layman's here. This very easy. Okay, good. It did. It says types of genetics. Homogeneous, it gave me an example. Heterogeneous genetics, it gave me an example. And then it gave me an explanation. So, and if I wanted to broaden that and say, explain to me the genetics of a different, and I'm thinking I wanted to do, if I wanted to do haploid or diploid or things like that. So, and I know I'm using scientific language right now, but I'm saying that you can get ChatGPT to put things into tables for you, and it can organize that table. Now I'm going to say, let's see, and Denise, I don't know if you're listening, but I'm having a blank. Oh my God, so I'm reading a genetics book right now, and I don't want to get too specific or down into the nitty gritty. What I want this to do is have a conversation with me about the let's say, because I'm an identical twin. Give me a chart of genes for identical and fraternal twins. Let's see if it'll do it. And it's doing it. Okay, so I like this. So it's giving me genetic relationships of identical twins and fraternal twins. It's showing me the monozygote and the dizygote. What's interesting about this is that I know what this is, and I don't want to go deep into it. But if you are a teacher and you're teaching a specific content area, it can help you have these conversations. Now I want to go into, what if your students get a hold of this and you think they're going to worry about cheating? What I want you to think about with cheating is that students with calculators, the TI-82 instrument, the T90, the TI-83, the 92, just know many of us programmed our formulas in there because we didn't need to memorize the formula. We just needed to know how to get to the performance expectation of the math that was being asked of us. So students have been doing this for years. And the truth is that if you go to a doctor's appointment now, I don't know. I watched my doctor Google something and I was like, I'm going to need you to tell me more about why you Googled that. Not that I was upset at her for doing it or him. I was more interested in why. She said, because it is a tool that we're using. So we use Google Scholar, we use the ERIC system. We don't go to the library like we used to and go into, those of you that are my age, like microfiche, we don't go look at things like that to pull up data. We use online systems. And students, the first time that students started writing papers using Google or Bing or Yahoo, or any search engine, they would copy, cut, and paste, write their paragraphs, edit it a little bit, and forget that they had a hyperlink. So funny, right? ChatGPT could be used for cheating. But what you could do is you can teach students how to use it as a learning model. So this next chat that I'm going to do, and I'm going to share my screen again, is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to show me the different writing styles for K-12 students and put this in a chart. Let's, or I'm going to say a table. The chart, it'll give me the same thing. Sure, it's doing this. This is, oh my gosh, it's putting, it says narrative, tell a story, often in first person. It's giving an example. The day I lost my first tooth. The next writing style in this table that it's doing, and if you're in the room and you want me to try a prompt, let me know. Descriptive, paints a picture using sensory. Expository, explains or informs about a topic. This is that informational text. The history of the Great Wall of China. Persuasive, tries to convince the reader to agree with a certain point, viewpoint, why students should have more recess time. That's one that I think every teacher in elementary does. And then reflective, shares personal thoughts or experiences. What I learned from my summer job. Creative, allows for freedom in style and content often used for fictional writing, the magical world of dragons and unicorns. Now, if we asked it to explain to me about ChatGPT using all of the above writing styles and put this back in a table. Now, ChatGPT is only as limited as you want it to be. Now, I've asked it to create a picture diagram for me, but it will do it in text, like it did molecular structure for me. So now it did it. This is kind of impressive. It says narrative. ChatGPT can tell a story about its development and evolution, starting from its creation to the present day. It can describe the changes it faced along the way and how it overcame that. And here's the example. I just want to give you this example. And again, I am live on YouTube above. So if you're not driving and you are able to log into your computer, you can actually go and see what I'm doing. I'm looking down at my phone like you can see me. It says, when I was first created, I was just a baby model with a limited vocabulary. But over time, I learned more and more words and phrases until I can understand and respond to complex questions and statements. Descriptive, ChatGPT can use sensory details to describe its appearance. It says, I'm a virtual assistant powered by artificial intelligence. I want everybody to realize that ChatGPT is just that. It is an artificial intelligence that is your personal assistant. It can be your personal assistant in a group forum. If you have a company and you are troubleshooting or trying to come up with some type of design model or trying to be creative, ChatGPT can do this for you. It will allow you to have a conversation about whatever it is you're talking about. And sometimes we get lost in the weeds with our critical thinking, and you can go off on a tangent and you can't organize it. So the next thing I'm going to do is say, and a lot of you are really good at teaching. There are no experts in ChatGPT. I am not going to say that I'm an expert. What I am really good at and like to have fun with is learning. So I am using ChatGPT to learn along with it as it grows. It just like Clubhouse, most of you learned along the way as Clubhouse got bigger and bigger and even more creative in how they were doing their rooms and the rooms and houses. So it's only as good as the information you give it. So now what I'm going to ask ChatGPT is to watch this. You're going to like this. Create a course on how to explain the above information. Also, create an outline for a YouTube video. Give me scripts. Bam. It's even now knowing, it's smart now because it knows that I like to use markdowns. I like to use markdowns. What's a markdown? A markdown is subheadings, headings, bold, bullet points, numbers. It literally gave me everything. And if you are not on YouTube right now looking at what I'm doing, this is amazing. This is fun to do. Yeah, you can get caught into this just like we all got caught into Clubhouse a few years ago when it first came out, because we didn't have any conversation with any other humans other than the people in our home. And if you were living alone, that was rough. But I'm going to go back to the top. It says, course, how to explain complex topics to different audiences. In this course, you will learn how to effectively explain complex topics to different audiences. And it's doing that. And now it's doing it based on the idea of a course outline to learn writing style. It was smart enough to know that I asked it about different writing styles. And if you're in K-5, teaching these different types of writing styles can be difficult. But what I really like about this, it didn't give me the typical ones. It added reflective writing. It added conclusion and next steps writing. And then it also added introduction to different writing styles. So it organized the system here to have this, to organize my brain. Could I have written this out? Absolutely. But this took less than 30 seconds to write out. And I want you to picture, if you think that this is just online, ChatGPT, OpenAI, I picture this as like this huge mainframe upon mainframe upon mainframe. And right now, OpenAI can't seem to even keep up with what we're doing. And that can be very, very difficult. But that's why it somewhat crashed this last week. Like all of my prompts weren't there anymore. And it said it's going to bring it back. So it did have the memory to keep it, but I'm paying for it. So if you're using the free version is a lot slower. And I mean, I don't know if I want to say out loud that I would have paid more for it, because this is pretty amazing. And I want to show you some of my other prompts that I did. And I about fell over my seat when I did this. I asked it, and I'm going to see if I can find it. I asked it to create, and you're going to like this, hopefully. Let's see if I can find it. I asked it to create, I'm going to open up another one. I asked it to create an equation for water. It's already there. For the chemical equation for water. It did. 2H2 plus O2 yields 2H2O. The interesting thing is that I would like it to do subscripts and superscripts. And if you're a chemist, you understand that, the H2, the 2 should be below, like a submarine, sub meaning below. And then I asked it to show me the chemical structure. It somewhat did a good job of showing me a chemical structure. It could have done better. And then I asked it to show me the electron orbital levels. Now, again, I don't really care if you understand chemistry, but what I want to show you is that it gave me some good information. It gave me, because I have a background in this area, it gave me the orbital levels, the SPDF, well, just the SP for H2O orbital levels, which to me is profound because it did it in text. And I can copy this code right here if I wanted to put it in a presentation. It then gave me an explanation as to the electron configuration of water. It then, I said, create an image. It said it couldn't create an image, but it did start to go into covalent bonds of hydrogen. And then I asked it, I'm going to go back up to, I asked it, I went into a new chat, and then I asked it to do the same thing. And it was struggling at first. It was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. But this time I asked it to, I first said, create an image of the SPDF orbital of H2O, and it said it couldn't, but then it started to explain all things about H2O, which was pretty impressive. And then it said, I said, show me a diagram of water, and it said, as it said again, I can't do it. And it gave me a list of some more things about H2O. And then I got a little mad at it. I said, well, this is great information. I know you can. Show me the electron orbital levels. And then it said, no, it can't, but it gave me a little bit more information about H2O, or the elements, hydrogen and oxygen. And then I was like, great information, thank you. But ChatGPT 3.5 showed me that the S&P levels in a diagram, not a photo. Then it said, I apologize for the confusion. And now it gave me text, and because I pushed back on it. And I could copy this, but what I was really impressed about this time when it did it is that it gave me what I would call Mickey ears. And it described what it was doing. And then I said, thank you for the text based diagram is perfect for now. And it says, you're welcome. And then it gave me more information because I asked it to give me, I'm glad the text-based diagram was helpful for you. This is what it said. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, please feel free to ask. I said, here was the code 3.5 created. And then it did another one. And then I said, thank you. And I was really, I said, I appreciated the H2O structure that was polarized and looked like Mickey ears. And it said, I like this. This was, for me, it was comedy. You're welcome. I'm glad you found the information helpful. The water molecule, H2O, indeed is a bent structure that resembles Mickey Mouse ears. When I saw this, I had to walk away from my computer because not only can it do, a lot of these other rooms are talking about the coding for SQL, structured queried language, or Python, and the back language on a lot of software programs or machine learning, but it can do physics coding. It can do chemical or chemistry coding for you. Now, it's not great yet. It's good. You know what? It is great. Really, it would have taken me hours to write a lesson plan about this. And then I asked it to write me a lesson, and it wrote me a lesson. And these are just some of the and again, I know I'm bigger than life right now, but if you are not using or jumping into ChatGPT as a teacher, or even in your business, you're missing out on this. And I think that you could have a lot of fun with it. So the other thing that you could do is you could go and find an article, or let's say, I'm going to go back into the writing style and say, write examples of the above using Malcolm Gladwell's voice. So you can get it to talk like someone else. And that's what it's doing. It's saying, sure, when it comes to explaining complex topics, there are a variety of writing styles at your disposal. Each style has its own unique strengths and can be tailored to meet the needs of different audiences. And I can hear Malcolm Gladwell's voice in this because I have both his tangible books and the audible books, and I could hear him reading this. You could say, do this like it was President Lincoln, do it this like it was former President Obama, do it like whomever. And the interesting thing about this is now if you're an educator, let's go back into this. How could I use the above in a lesson to create a lesson for high school students to be creative with their writing, haha, using Chat GPT. Now I'm aware that Chat GPT says it is only available for 18 and older. We said that about social media. So you just know they're going to go home and use it. So if you don't teach them how to use it, they're going to use it to cheat. So if you teach them, you use this, and then you tell students, it says, explain the purpose of the lesson and how ChatGPT can be used to generate creative responses in different writing styles. Review the different writing styles and provide examples of each. Provide a brief overview of ChatGPT and how it works. So it's telling you to tell your students to go into ChatGPT and ask it for different writing styles. You know what's great about this is that learning isn't a secret. I think that sometimes teachers think that you go home and you can't have any help from your parents. It's a science experiment. It's a science and engineering project, no help. But for those parents that help their students, or teachers that tell them, go and find everybody that can help you, they're getting exemplars from people that brains are more developed. That probably didn't sound very well, but in other words, we are a little bit more wise than our own children, and so are teachers. So you give them what we call exemplars. There isn't a professor out there that has articles that are peer-reviewed articles that didn't write it, rewrite it, have someone else read it. They reread it, and then before they published it, before they would say that it was ready to be published. So if you are letting your students say, give me a summary of so-and-so's book, and then you let them read it. And then in the classroom, you can have a conversation about, well, what did your summary say? Because not every student's summary is going to come out the same. Because as ChatGPT is pulling from all of the different databases of learning that it has, it's pulling and thinking differently, and it's getting smarter and smarter and more intelligent and more intelligent. It's not emotional. So why aren't we teaching our students, or even our pre-service teachers, those of you that are college professors, how to teach children or students how to use it, and then say, okay, so that's what they said. Now I want you to actually write, based on the book that we all read, write a persuasive argument as to why this is okay and why this isn't okay. You could debate back and forth with ChatGPT. I think that we are very, very afraid of things that we don't need to be afraid of. Now, I am aware that some of you are thinking iRobot is going to take over. I've been there, done that, but it's not going anywhere. ChatGPT is not going anywhere. And we can embrace it and learn with it, or get left behind. And some people during COVID, when teachers had to go home, you had a large amount of teachers that felt left behind and decided that they didn't want to be in the education system anymore, because learning Zoom or Google Meets or whatever other platform that I can't think about was so overwhelming to go back and forth and to put students into small groups. That was a lot. But the truth is that if you take some time to learn anything, you can get better at it. You know, practice does not make perfect. It makes permanent. Practice makes continuous learning. Practice gives us the ability to learn more information and to have fun with it. So, and if you're in the audience and you want me to try a prompt it, because I'm live on YouTube, let me know. I'm going to go back and share my screen. And I wanted to show you this other thing that you can do with ChatGPT, especially if you have young children or if you're a teacher. So I want ChatGPT to create, here, first I'm going to ask it this. Find me a, I'm going to say this word, Common Core State Standards. Please do not freak out if you're like against it. It is not emotional. State standards are just tools that we want students to learn. There is no such thing as new math. It's just, there are different strategies on how to learn math. So find me a Common Core State Standard to teach addition. Okay, I'm just going to use a simple one. That way we all can grapple with this. Okay, so this is the Common Core State Standard. Oh, This one is using add and subtract within 20, demonstrating fluency for addition and subtraction within 10. Okay, so one of the examples was 8, is it 8 plus 6 equals 8 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8, or equals 10 plus 4 equals 14. Okay, all right, so it's giving me using strategies such as counting on making 10. So I'm going to do something simple. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is to create 2-digit integers. So integers, like, and then I'm going to ask it to do some other things. Create an assessment using addition integers. And let's just do this first. Let me just create an assessment using addition integers. Okay, so now it's giving me negatives. I want it to be simpler than that. Stay within the positive realm. Oh no, let me take a moment. No, let's stay there. I'm staying here. This is good. It actually did a better job than the first time I've asked it to do it. It says question 1, evaluate the expression -4 plus 7. So I'm going to answer question 1. I'm going to say question 1 is 3. Let's see what it says. Scroll. And it says, I'm sorry, but the answer to question 1 is not 3. The correct answer is the sum of -4 and 7 is 3. Oh my gosh. So it wanted me to evaluate it and give a performance test. Oh my, so even though I said it is 3, it wanted me to talk about it. I'm so impressed with this. Okay, let's do that. Okay, give me question number 2. Here is question 2. Okay, evaluate and simplify the expression -9 and -3, which is -12 plus 2. So let's write it out. So I'm going to try to do it the way it wrote it. -9 and -3 is the sum of 12, -12, -12, and 2 is the sum of -10. It wants me to create the expression. Okay. So you want me to create the expression? Please clarify. Meaning the equation. If you would like me to create a new equation, I'm sure, no. Clarify what you are asking. Nope. See, it's giving me an expression. I love that it's grappling with me. No, I want to know if you want, I know it does, me to answer in an equation and not text. Oh, now you're not understanding. I'm going to say, give me the next question. And then I'm going to yell at it again. Okay, here it is. Okay, so the problem with this is it is wanting me to do it a certain way, and as an educator, I'm mad at it because I would have known that I was right. So I wanted to give me the ability to answer creatively, which is this is fun. But could you imagine that if a student is grappling back and forth? My children used to come home and tell me, my own children used to come home and tell me, you're not doing it right. This is the only way. It's the teacher way. So that is what I want ChatGPT to learn from me right now. Okay, so I'm going to answer it and then I'm going to say, no, it's right. So what is the sum of? Please provide your answer in the form. Oh, it's in the form of an equation showing your work. Oh, it's asking me to show my work. That's a lot of typing. But okay. So -8. Oh, I'm not in there. This is funny. So -8 plus 5 equals negative. Oops, I didn't say negative. Oh my gosh, -3. This is what you I wanted a simpler assessment this, but I'm going to show you how to do that too. I'll show you what I did before. -8 plus +5 is -3. And then -3 plus -2 equals -5. Now, if it tells me I'm wrong, I'm going to be mad at it. Your answer is, now I'm correct. So what it wanted me to do was to put it in an expression in an equation. Now, I've done this before, but I want an easier assessment. I'm going to say create an addition 2-digit integer problems for grade 1. That's what I missed. Okay. So, and it did. So it's like 24 plus 16, 35 plus 12. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to answer 24 plus 16. I'm going to say, actually, yeah, let me do that. So number 1 is the sum of 30. Oh, test me on the first 5 problems. Okay, so now it's just giving me that. So now, so 1 is 20. No, is 50. Is 50. Is this correct? Great job. What about the other problems? Okay, so just so you know, you can do that, and that's simple. But the other thing is that I want you to realize that you can ask teachers to create a lesson for a structure of matter using NGS high school standards. I'm going to spell it all wrong, doesn't matter. So now it's creating a lesson plan. So what would have taken you a long time, this is creating a lesson plan. You could have asked it to do markdowns, headings, bold, and everything. So, and if you'd like to have a conversation about this, feel free to add that into the chat. I'll be more than happy to ask you or use your prompts in this. But if you're a teacher, you could do this. You could ask it to create a lesson for students that have a hard, let me just put create real life experiences and an exam for when students are finished. Also create a lab. So real life experiences is giving me a list of them. Analyzing household products, visit to chemical plant, manufacturing plant. That's not necessarily a real life experience. I'm thinking like a lab. So it created the lab. Because real life experience doesn't mean go to actually perform some type of test or experiment. So that's what I would have wanted to do. And then I asked it to create an exam. Create an exam for the above standard. That's really what I want. So now it's giving me a multiple choice. I would want it to add a performance task as well. It's still generating, I think. Yeah, so it's giving me, short answers. It's fine, but I want a performance task. So there's just someone, I mean, this is like fantastic, and it does it really, really quickly, and you can have fun with that. So if you're online and you're watching live on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Go to the introduction video on how to use ChatGPT and some of the other videos. They're really fun to watch. And I'm using YouTube to get better at YouTube. And I'm also using ChatGPT because I think that as educators, we don't want to get left behind. So go ahead, turn on the bell, comment, let me know what other videos you'd like to see with ChatGPT or in educational leadership, or how to create lesson plans quickly and to actually perform the lesson plans, or maybe be creative in your classroom. Thank you.